this one I'm going to call last few runs, and being a poster child for, not quitting, I guess. For some reason, even though I know that I'm going to be sore the next day, I kept wanting to continue to the best of my ability to do what I could do. We talked about the Great Race and other such things. There's a particular event up here in New York State called the duathlon at Watkins Glen, which is a bike run. You can do it yourself or you can do it as a relay. My husband and I did it a few years ago, and we actually did quite well before all this started. And then when everything kind of went downhill, they were the last two actual events besides last year's Turkey Day Trot that I did. We started IVIG about 2 years ago, I think, year and a half, and I've been doing Botox for about 9 months. So the Botox has its peaks and its highs and its lows. So I get it for the first 2 weeks are usually not so great, and then it starts to kind of come up and hit a trough, and that's when he likes me to try to push myself and see what I can do. And then it kind of comes down again. Then I have a couple crappy weeks and I go back and we start the whole process all over again. He's actually also been wonderful. So the Turkey Day Trot was at a peak, and it was probably one of the last runs. So the duathlon, if you will, 3 years ago, I think, I did it with a friend of mine. Why Matt did it with his father, potentially. And my friend was the very last biker on the course. So it's split up in like 1.5 mile run, a 10 mile bike around the track, 1.5 mile run, 10 mile bike around the track, 1.5 mile run. So I decided at the peak of my Botox that was something that I could potentially try to do, is to break up. I wouldn't normally go further than 3, but if I was breaking it up into 3 sets of runs, hopefully it would be okay. I was running with little colored circles, going pretty slow. I was one of the last people to finish, which is totally fine. You're first, you're last, it's all good. So I did have a small episode because I got a little cold, but that one wasn't terrible. Last year I did it with my brother-in-law, and my husband did it with my daughter, who completely kicked my ass. We actually did okay. Again, it was at the peak of my Botox, but I did feel my body start to break down on that 3rd lap. And I just said, this is probably it. Same thing as the marathon, just keep running until you're done. And then unfortunately I had an episode that I had brought some meds with, but it took a while to calm that one down. So some people don't understand why my stubbornness is persistent. They think that maybe I'm making a bigger deal out of this disease than it is. But for some reason, it's just how I roll. I don't know how to be any other way except for to be myself and to try to continue to show the kids and anybody watching that you can get diagnosed with something and still try to be the best version of yourself and the best and yourself. There's no reason that you have to give pieces of yourself away, as long as you're willing to take the other side of it. I think that we do need to remember that there's a lot of people out there with a lot of different things. So like I said before, I never questioned why me. I've always been the believer, why not me? Never tried anything in school because I thought I'd be the one that thought I could fly, jump out the window, and realize I couldn't. And I have had family members that have had leukemia and kicked it, and I have had friends who have had breast cancer and kicked it, and I have friends that are going through things right now that they are fighting. So it's a cliche, but everybody's fighting something. And it might be minor to them, it might be major, but that doesn't mean that we need to be uncompassionate about it. And I'm also a big music person, so I heard this song right around the same time as I went out on disability. And if you haven't listened to it, I think you should. It's called Be the Light by Thomas Rhett. It's actually a collaboration of a couple other country artists as well. But it says, in the song, it says, if you are not going to win the race, you need to slow it down. So ironically, as a runner, that's not necessarily what I would have done, or obviously have done. I don't slow down. But when it came to work and family, I realized that I was not winning that race, and I needed to slow it down and spend time with my family. So if that's not a song that you've listened to, it's very inspirational. I think it might have something to do with COVID. Coincidentally, I went out right before COVID really got big. But take a listen to that song because it's beautiful, and that's how I feel like everybody should be. Everybody should be the light for somebody else in their life. That's what we're here to do. So keep being the light. Keep coming back for more if you want. If you have any questions, we haven't looked recently, so I'll try to answer questions in my next go around. Everybody have a terrific day.